Baby back ribs or spare ribs? Which ones are better? You don't want to miss this cook. Stay tuned.
Hello guys, Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue here.
Look at that. Look at these burnt ends, guys. Alright guys, welcome back. So as I mentioned in the intro there, I do have a rack of baby back ribs and a rack of spare ribs. And those of you guys that follow me know that I cook spare ribs more than I do baby back ribs. In fact, it's been a very, very long time since I cooked a rack of baby back ribs. Gosh, I want to say it's been probably a year or so, if not longer. And I don't know why I switched, but it is what it is. I've just cooked more spare ribs than I do baby backs. And you know, baby back ribs are a very meaty rib, and it's got a good chunk of meat up here on the top, as you can see. And the spare ribs that I'm opening up here are also a very meaty rib. But the bones are definitely smaller on the spare rib, I think, than it is on the baby back. The baby backs traditionally have a bigger bone on them. So I'm gonna trim these up a little bit, and I'm gonna talk to you guys because I do have I do get asked some questions, and I want to help answer some of those while I trim this up. If you don't want to listen, you can obviously fast forward to when I start cooking these. So one of the questions I get asked a lot is what cooker, or how do I select the cooker that I'm going to cook my food in? And that is a really good question, guys, and I'll tell you that, you know, I think I'm up to 7 smokers, and I've cooked on them so much that I know what kind of flavor profile I'm going to end up with. So it depends on what I'm going to cook. You know, if I'm going to cook a bunch of briskets, I'm going to use my El Rey, because obviously that's got the most room where I can put a bunch of briskets in there, not have to worry about space. You know, the pit barrel, you guys have seen me cook on that. That's obviously a barrel smoker, and it's a little bit smaller. So if I'm not cooking anything too big, I can definitely use my pit barrel smoker. The gateway drums, you guys know that those are a little bit bigger, and I think that is my go-to smoker, just because of the taste, the food that it produces. The flavor profile is really, really good. You know, you have more of a backyard flavor to the food, if you will. And you know, if I'm being lazy, or if I just want to use my pellet smoker, or simply being lazy, let's say that I want to watch a football game, then I'll fire up my pellet smoker and cook whatever I want to cook on that, whether it's ribs or brisket or chicken. It all depends on you and your time. You know, do you have time to sit by the smoker and watch it and maintain, or watch the temperatures, make sure they don't spike on you? Obviously on my big El Rey, you gotta stay close to it, because the temperatures can get away from you. Not as much as let's say the gateway drum. The temperatures will swing more on that, more than any smoker that I've got. The pit barrel itself, if I had to guess, I think the pit barrel or the gateway drum would be the most difficult to operate, because the temperature swings are much greater than even on the pit barrel cooker. The pit barrel cooker is pretty accurate. Very easy to maintain the temperatures, but the Gateway, it is as well, but you got to get to know your smoker, and it takes a little bit. So guys, what I'm doing here is I'm just going to trim up. Looks like they left some of the cartilage here. I really wasn't going to trim this much, but I am going to trim a little bit just to get rid of this cartilage. I'm just going to draw a quick line here. But yeah, for those of you guys, if you guys ever have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And you know, I respond to, I think, every single comment on my channel. You know, and sometimes it's just a hey, good job, and that's fine, you know. But some of you guys have legitimate questions. You know, you guys might wanna, you know, you might be struggling with your Gateway, or might be struggling with your pit barrel, or, you know, just ask away, guys. That's what I'm here for. You know, I do this. My channel is about trying to help people barbecue and show you guys how easy it is to barbecue. So if I can help you guys out with anything, please feel free to ask any questions that you may have. So I will be cooking these ribs on my Gateway drum smoker. I think that the Gateway drum produces a really good flavor. The temperature is going to be 275. Total cook time, you know, I've never cooked a set of baby back ribs on my Gateway, but you guys know that I cook my spares in about 2 hours. This has a little bit more meat, and you know, you have this really lean meat here, and I don't want it to dry out. So I think I'm still going to cook them at 275, but I'm probably going to go for 3 hours. And I'm going to use Victory Lane barbecue rubs. I'm just going to use the garlic jalapeno seasonal, their cherry rub, and their pecan rub. I want to go ahead and layer them. I just removed the membrane and trimmed off any excess fat or any little hanging pieces, if you will, while I was talking. I am out of the Victory Lane butter bath, so I'm going to use the butter, pineapple juice, some honey, and some brown sugar. So I'm going to get these rubbed down, guys, and I'll bring you guys back, so stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. So I've got my stainless steel pan here, and I'm going to start with my spare rack. And the nice thing about wearing gloves, guys, is you can still wash your hands, as I just did since I was trimming. And the first layer, I'm going to do the back side of this rack here, is the garlic jalapeno seasonal. Just a light sprinkle, nothing too heavy. Do both sides. So the reason I'm cooking these, guys, is just to, I mean, it's been a long time since I've cooked baby back ribs, as I mentioned, and I want to see which one is, which rack is a good one to cook for like a backyard barbecue. I am going to use the Our House barbecue sauce. This is the original rum barbecue sauce, so it already sounds good, and I haven't even tasted it, so looking forward to trying that out. The second rub is going to be their pecan rub. You can start with the backside. Give it a good layer of this stuff, just like this. This has a really good, little bit of sweet flavor to it. So we put some heat down. Now I'm putting a little bit of sweet onto it. Again, I don't like to rub my rubs in. I just like to pat them down. I'm keeping one hand clean, then go ahead and do the top side of it just like this. And guys, I will tell you that this is what I will use for a barbecue competition. Obviously the trim is a lot nicer. The rack is nice and square, or rectangular, I should say, a nice straight line. So it's a little bit different cook, but this is just more of a backyard, and to figure out which rack is better. And then the third rub is the cherry bomb rub, and this one I go a little heavy. Just like that. I took the membrane off of both racks, these spares and the baby backs. And I'm not worried about the edges, guys. I'm not. You know, I know I could do the edges right now, but I'm not gonna worry too much about the edges. I'm just gonna make sure that I get enough rub on both racks. Just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and rub down the baby backs as well. And I'm gonna fire up my Gateway drum smoker. Process to get it going is probably about 30 minutes by the time I put my charcoal in there. So there we have it. And this rub will sweat into these ribs. And I'll show you that as before I put them in the Gateway drum smoker. I'll show you how nice and wet these racks are going to look. So stay tuned, guys. All right, guys, we are outside, and I've got about half a basket of this lump charcoal. I want to show you something. I just started using this Fogo premium hardwood charcoal, this lump charcoal. And on my last video, where I smoked up some beef cheeks, I cooked for about 5.5 hours. And I had about 3/4 of a basket of this. And when I came to open up my can, I took the deflector plate off. I still had about half a basket of unspent charcoal. So I just lit that up in my chimney and put it back in here and put a little bit more on top of that. So I've never done that with any other charcoal. In fact, every other charcoal has just been nothing but ashes. So I'm pretty impressed with that Fogo charcoal. I think it's about 20 bucks a bag. And I'm going to continue to, I'm going to order up some more because that stuff is pretty impressive. I still had half a basket of unspent charcoal that I just relit, so which is awesome. So the lump charcoal is pretty much caught, as you can see. So I'm going to dump some hickory chunks in there, just like that. Nothing fancy. I know there's people out there that say to put at the very bottom, but heck, if I had done that on my last cook, these things would have never lit. So I'm just going to put them on the top like that. There's about 6 pieces there. Let's call it about 7 chunks. And then at this point, I'm going to put my deflector plate on the bottom pegs. Ooh, that's hot. Just be careful not to burn yourself. All right. Let's try this way here. Well, I'm gonna have to get a hot glove to position that. Well, let me try it here. Whew, it's hot. Be careful with these guys, they'll get hot. So I'm just gonna grab my leather glove and put that deflector plate on. So let me see, let me try it one more time without the glove. It's not terribly hot. The trick is to get it on 2. There you go. Get it on 2 and just drop it in there, just like that. And at that point, put my lid on there. You guys saw that charcoal is burning hot. So I'm gonna put my lid on, start to close my intakes down, just to keep the fire down or put the fire out. And we'll be back, so stay tuned. All right, guys, we are back, and this drum is ready for the ribs. I want to show you these ribs before I put them in, but look at that. Looks like a really nice bright red color, and that's what you get when you use good rubs. So I got my hook here. I'm just going to drop my baby backs in there, just like that. I'm sitting right at 300 degrees. That's where I like to cook my ribs at. And here are the spares. So, alright guys, we're going to leave these in here probably for about an hour and a half. And it will be spritzing after the rub set. So, we'll be back in a bit. Stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back. So, the total cook time right now has been an hour and a half. in the smoke, and I'm going to show you what I want to do to wrap these ribs. I like to lay some butter down on the bottom of my foil, and I've got 4 pieces of foil, and the reason I have 4 pieces of foil is because sometimes you will get a tear in your foil, and I like to have a backup plan, if you will. So got my butter down, got some good honey here, and then we're just going to grab a handful of brown sugar and put it on the foil like this. And this is another question that I get asked: do you use light brown sugar or dark brown sugar? And quite honestly, guys, I've used both and haven't really seen a big flavor difference. So here are my spares. As you can see, they look beautiful. And I'm going to repeat the process. So I've got butter, get my honey, and again, this is a backyard cook. This isn't a competition cook, but I would do this in a competition cook as well, except everything would be a lot neater, obviously. And then get my brown sugar and sprinkle it up on the top, just like so. There really isn't any true measurements. So then what I like to do is grab my foil paper, just fold it over, grab your other end, fold it right over nice and tight. I like to grab this foil, twist it like that, and just lay it down. Sometimes, again, the bone will puncture the foil, so that's why I have a backup plan. And on this side, I'll dump about a cup of pineapple juice. Just like that. And again, just twist it and lay it down. So, it doesn't look like I punctured the foil at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay that to the side. And I'm going to repeat the process, guys, on the baby back ribs. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process here, put them back in the smoker, and I will be putting these meat side down. So at first these were meat side up, and once I put them back in the smoker, the meat will be down. Just as you see here. Just like you see here. That's the way I'm going to lay them back in the smoker. So, guys, I want to finish wrapping this one up and put them both in the smoker for about another hour. And then I'm going to pull them out of the foil and we will start recording at that point. So I'll bring you guys back. So stay tuned, guys. All right, guys, we are back and we are at the hour mark as far as when I wrap them. So it's time to unwrap these ribs. And got my hook here, which makes it a lot easier to handle this, any type of meat, really. Oh yeah, they're looking really nice. So I'm going to grab about 2 bones in, that way I don't peel a rib off of the rack. And just grab the foil, take it out, just like so. Lay the rack of ribs back on your grate there. Let's check out these spare ribs. Oh man, this smells good. Got some nice, really nice pullback already. So again, go about 2 bones in. Ooh, that liquid is hot. Don't be touching that. There we go. And there's our spares. Look at that nice pullback. So, guys, the next step is to leave them on the smoke for about 20 minutes, and then I'll come back and sauce them. So stay tuned.
All right, guys, these ribs have been out of the wrapper out of the foil, I'm sorry, for about 20 minutes. So they are ready to be sauced, and I hope you guys can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip these ribs meat side down, just like so. And I warmed up my sauce. And again, this is Our House barbecue sauce. And this sauce is really thin, which I like for the simple fact that the thin sauce will penetrate the meat. So I'm just going to pour some on the top like that and then brush it on. So that's going to penetrate it right into the meat, guys. And this sauce has a really, I tasted it when I was warming it up. It's got a really good flavor. Look what it does to the color. So, and it's a rum sauce, so it's got a really good flavor to it. Not like rum out of the bottle, but you can definitely taste that. There's something in it. I'm gonna have to talk to Tony and see if there's even any alcohol or what's in it. Let's see what it did to the color. Oh man, the barbecue sauce that's fallen over and hitting the heat deflector down there, heat diffuser. It's burning up and coming up and hitting me right in the face, and it smells delicious. So again, I'm just going to pour some right on the top, just like this, just like that, like that. Then I'll brush it on. And again, because the sauce is so thin, it's going to penetrate the meat. So it's not your traditional barbecue sauce that you would buy at the store that's real thick. It's nice and light. So I mean, I can see it penetrating right into the ribs. Guys, I normally just give these ribs one coat, but I'm liking the sauce, so I'm gonna let this sit for probably 5 minutes and come give them another coat. So stay tuned, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. So the total cook time was about 3 hours, 2 hours and 50 minutes. And we are at the final process, and these ribs are smelling and looking really good. I got to tell you, first impressions, this sauce, I've used these rubs before, the Victory Lane rubs, and those are really good. But this sauce really impressed me. It's not as thick as your traditional barbecue sauce, and I could actually see it penetrating the meat when I was brushing it on, which is really good. That's just going to give the ribs a much better flavor. But the appearance of it does look like a barbecue sauce. So these have been resting for about 10 minutes, guys, and I'm just going to cut one bone off of each rack, and we're going to give these a shot, see what they taste like. Ooh, they're really tender. Really tender. So there's a bone off of the spares. We'll just move these aside so they don't interfere. Let's take a bone off of these here. I'm hitting bone here. There you go. Ooh, these are really tender too. So again, guys, these are not competition style ribs. I just wanted to see, because it's been a while since I've smoked a baby back rib. I wanted to see which one had a much better flavor for me using these ingredients, and obviously, or the rubs and the sauce. So I'm going to give a bite to the baby back, which it's been a while since I've cooked it, so let's give this a shot. Really tender. Juicy. That is a heck of a rib. That is really, really tasty. Those rubs and that sauce paired up together look really good. This is a good old spare that I'm used to cooking. Okay, so let's give this a shot. Good smoke ring. I don't know if I got, yeah, I got barbecue sauce all over the place. Right out of the gate, I can tell that I got more smoke ring on the spare rib. And quite honestly, that spare rib is a lot more juicier. Not as tender as your baby back. The baby back is almost falling off the bone, okay? But it's hard to beat that flavor. And I think it's because there's more fat in the spare rib. But in a way, the spare rib is meatier, even though it doesn't have that big loin meat on the top of the, like the baby backs. I would still go spare ribs. Now I know why I cook more spare ribs than I do baby backs. The baby backs, there's nothing wrong with it. But for me, I think the spare rib is the way to go. So guys, you have to give this barbecue sauce a shot. I don't get paid to endorse this company, Our House Barbecue Company. These were actually given to me from a friend of mine. And I had no connection to this company whatsoever, but I'm really liking that barbecue sauce. So give this a shot, guys. I'll leave a link to their website so you guys can order some up. But hope you guys like this video. Spare ribs for me. Will I cook baby backs again? I will. But I think that my favorites are spare ribs. So guys, hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you have any questions, leave them below. And I promise you I will answer them. Until next time, guys, Joe is Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.